And as promised, we are back now with comedian Sebastian Maniscalco and his family pediatrician, the real one, Dr. Scott Cohen. They are co-hosts of the podcast Daddy vs. Doctor, where they share advice from the father's perspective and find comedy in parenthood. And Vlad is also here at the table as he continues to prepare to become a dad any day, any second.
Lots of preparations going on. 10 days to go.
All right, good morning to all. I will take the first question here, Sebastian. You were talking about what your kids eat and what they don't eat and how you're pretty strict about it, where they eat it. You like to mince it up. You don't want any choking hazards. But are there particular foods that you would really like from a health point of view to get your kids to eat and they just won't do it?
Well, listen, I think everybody wants their kids to eat some type of green vegetable, and they're like, well, how do we do that? Some people blend it in a smoothie. I don't care what you're blending in a smoothie. Kale tastes like kale, all right?
That's a fact.
And then some people go, oh, you know what? In order for you to have your kids eat, why don't you make the pancake or whatever look like a bunny? You see a lot of these people trying to, like, take food and make it look like something else. Again, if it tastes bad, if it's a bunny, they're gonna spit the bunny ear out.
So, Dr. Cohen, I've heard from my pediatrician to try the shapes and the smoothies and also the airplane move, open the hanger, all that. So, what do you got for me, given that Sebastian's just dumping on all that?
Right? I mean, I don't have the airplane move like Sebastian has. That's my... You know, he has the go-to. But I think variety early on is the key. And one of the biggest changes we saw in pediatrics over the last decade is how we introduce solid foods. And what we used to do before, and you probably heard this, was very conservative. One food at a time, cereal for 3 days, vegetable for 3 days, fruit for 3 days, holding on more allergenic foods like eggs and fish and peanut butter till later. And what we learned is early introduction of a wide variety of foods, especially allergenic foods, did two things. Create a better eater, because you're getting used to the foods and the taste that you use in your house, even the bunnies. And it decreases allergies. And all these kids, remember when we were kids, nobody had allergies, and now you can't go to school with a peanut butter sandwich. We actually caused that because we didn't sensitize kids to foods early on. So from day one, you can make your smoothie of eggs, shellfish, peanut butter, yogurt. Of course not, but the point is from day one, anything you can make non-choking, they can have, except we say no honey till a year.
I was eating squid at 3 years old.
Squid? Wow.
Well, I come from an Italian family. They just gave me everything.
Well, okay, so Dr. Cohen, on the podcast, you admitted that your daughter had mac and cheese several times a week, and I was thinking about that, about building healthy eating habits. My mom, when I was a kid growing up, we didn't have any cakes, desserts, sweets. We didn't have sweets after meals, and as a result, as an adult, I never crave those things. I never
go to birthday parties and just house the cake?
You did.
Not
I've seen
really.
pictures.
Not
I
really.
have
I mean, I still am not somebody.
But that shaped who you are as an adult.
It kind of did. So how do you, I don't know if that's an example of building healthy eating habits, but I
so
think
you're saying
is.
I lead by such a good example, right? And this is what we do, you know. It's the pediatrician advice, and then when you're in your home, what really happens as a parent, often very, very different. I remember when my daughter would put anything in her mouth when we started food, except for food. And then one day my wife was holding a pickle and a potato chip. And my daughter reached over and licked the pickle and licked the potato chip and licked the no wonder she likes salt ever since. So, you know, we talk about variety, and after a year of age, even the best eaters, what ends up happening, and I joke, but it happens about 100% of the time, they live off dairy, carbs, and fruit. And that's sort of just the staples. You still try all the other healthy foods. You try a variety. You offer 3 or 4 things. You hope your child eats part of one, but you don't want to make it a thing because you don't want to make a fight over food because then it becomes an issue later on. And I think if you offer variety, you have lots of different foods in your house that you're eating and that they're trying, it ends up working out down the road.
Sebastian,
thanks for calling me out, Vlad. Really appreciate it.
Sebastian, you had a proud dad moment. Your 5-year-old Serafina had a recital, so she hit the stage like Pops. What was that like, watching that?
Listen, I'm biased. I think we have another entertainer in the family. Of course, I got extremely emotional watching my daughter knock out these songs, and it was just nice. I mean, at 5 years old, for her to have the confidence to go up in front of a room full of strangers and start singing, I mean, I wasn't even doing that. So I think she's having a ball with her little theater group, and yeah, I told my manager, I think we got another client coming up the ranks here.
And your manager was like, I'll start taking 20%. Look, guys, we really appreciate you being on and sharing all your triumphs and fails as real-life dads in the world. So it's beneficial for all, beneficial for Vlad. Glad
Learning
you're
a
here as
lot.
well.
Daddy Vladdy.
Congratulations.
Thank you, gentlemen. We'll have you back very soon. New episodes of Daddy versus Doctor premiere every Friday. We'll be right back.